Okay, thanks for joining me today. My name is Ninar. I'm a program manager and I work on the Azure SQL experiences. Today I'm here to talk about a new experiences that I'm really excited to have worked on and to share with you. So, up until recently, our Azure SQL products have been fairly disjointed in the experiences, the APIs, the content where we talk about them. And we received a lot of feedback from customers like you of these frustrations. Where do I find these things? What's the right thing for me? And so this new experience that we have now unifies all of our Azure SQL products together. So we have SQL databases, managed instances, SQL Server and virtual machines, all in one creation experience and all in one management experience. And at first, this doesn't seem like a really big change that we've made so far, but it's more reflective of the change in how we in the Azure SQL team are thinking about how we connect our products together and trying to do that better. But it also is more just the first step in a line of improvements in this area that we are starting with this new experience, and there's more we're going to build on top of it in the future. So today I'm going to walk through what the disjointed experiences look like and the research and the feedback we got from you all. I'll show you this new experience that's addressing this, and then I'll talk about some of the new exciting things we're building on top of this in the future. So I'll kind of tease things to come. So let me switch the screen. Yeah. So a lot of this will be demo, so I'm going to actually show you what the experiences are like. So this is right. I go to the Azure portal. Say as an example, I want to create a SQL Server virtual machine. Right, so I go into the experience. This is kind of assuming I know that I want a SQL Server virtual machine. Potentially, I'm not totally sure what the difference is between SQL Server and a virtual machine and managed instance SQL database, but I'm kind of guessing that's what I want. Right, so I'll go to create a resource. That's going to take a minute, so I'm going to go over here. Right, so I go into the marketplace. I've searched. I want SQL Server and a virtual machine. And here we have Azure SQL, which is the unified experience I'll show in a bit. But we have all of these other things that show up in my search results. Some of these things are SQL in a virtual machine. Some of these are other offerings that are available in Azure. But really, I'm not getting the full SQL in a VM offering that is actually available. So I'm not getting the holistic picture of what my options are. And I don't really get any info of whether SQL VM is actually the right choice for me compared to something else in Azure SQL. Right, and then also in the experiences, right, even in my favorites list or in all services, I have SQL in a VM. It's separated from, say, elastic pools, databases, managed instances. They're all in separate places, right? Okay, and oh yeah, so I wanted to see a show of hands of people who have used the Azure portal to create and manage resources, and if this is relatable. Awesome, that's why you're here. All right, so this is an example of the frustration that you may have felt when using the Azure portal if you've created SQL VMs or really any of them, of trying to find what's right for you and to create the right thing. Maybe not being totally sure of what you're creating. We've been gathering research and feedback from users like you over the last few years, and we've been getting this exact feedback over and over again of I don't know. Even I've been spending time every day at the booth over in SQL database, and every day I'm getting asked what's the difference between DB, MI, and VM. Which one is right for me based on these set of criteria that are important to me, whether I'm migrating from on-prem or I have certain capabilities I'm looking for. I'm not sure, right? And then going into the experiences, even if you are sure, finding the right one, having the right terminology, like do you know that it's called SQL Managed Instance that you're looking for, and searching for the right thing to go find it. So this is what we've been getting feedback over and over again. And we want to do better. We want to improve these experiences. So we want you to feel confident that you know which option is right for you compared to the other options, that you can find it, that you can create it successfully without kind of uncertainty of what you've actually accomplished and what you're now paying for. Right, so now I'm going to show you the new experience that should hopefully help for this. So again, I want to create SQL in a VM. Actually, I'm going to go back. Here we go. So I want to create SQL in a VM, and I see the first thing that had showed up for me was Azure SQL. So I'm going to go in and check this out. And right away, the first thing I see is within this, we have databases, managed instances, and SQL in a VM, explanations of how these things compare. So I'm feeling good about this. I'm going to go create. Right. So this is the new guided create experience that we have. So within it, right, we have our 3 options. Right off the bat, we tell you what scenarios they each fit best for. And you can look at details and say, okay, these are more information about SQL VM versus SQL managed instance. So I can tell from looking at this that, if I want to control the version of SQL Server, SQL VM is what I'm looking for. If I want to migrate to the cloud, but I want the latest of SQL Server, managed instance is what I'm looking for. And without having to go read a bunch of documentation to compare them, I can see that from this experience while I'm going through it. Another really convenient thing we've added, I showed you before in the experience, right? I didn't see the whole list of SQL Server in VM options I had. And now I have it all in one list. So all the 60 plus images that we offer are all in this one list. And I can search through it, it filters it down, I can find the very particular thing that I'm looking for, and then I can go through, hit create, and feel confident that I found the right thing for me versus all of the other options. Right? And then once I've created the resource, whatever I pick, I created my SQL VM, I go into the manage experience. And what's new in this experience, like I kind of showed before, all of the resources were managed individually. So I manage SQL VMs over here, managed instances over here. In this new experience, we have everything in one list. Here we go. So I can show you, in this list, I have databases, pools, managed instances, SQL VMs all in one list. If I really still only care about looking at SQL VMs right now, I can filter the list down. I can look just at my SQL VMs. I want to look for this VM that I just created. I can look through this list. I can sort and filter through any of these details, and I can find the exact VM that I was looking for. Right? So we have everything in this experience together. So the first thing I want to show, right? So this is the experience. So the next thing is what's next, right? This is a pretty basic experience we put out there, but what more are we doing on top of this? So this is really just a small thing to start. So let me switch. Yeah. The clicker's not working. Huh. Okay. Thank you. All right. So, right, in the experience we've shown so far, we have databases, managed instances, and SQL VMs. But that's a pretty small portion of what we offer, right? SQL Server in Azure and off Azure. So it's really just a small piece of the story. We want to add more into this experience and connect more of our products together. Right? This is kind of the full picture that we're currently offering. And we already have new things that we've added into it. If you've been attending sessions around the conference, you may have heard of instance pools, and SQL Managed Instance in Azure Arc are the newest things that we've added into this experience. Right? So now you can put your managed instances into a pool, manage the resources together. It's a little bit like the Elastic Pool offering for single databases. And now you can have, with Azure Arc, you can have your SQL Managed Instances on-prem or in other clouds. Right? So we have this plethora of products that we now have together in the experience. As soon as a new product is added, it's added into this experience. But then there's a lot of other products that still aren't in here, right? We have SQL Server on-prem, SQL in containers, we have SQL Edge. We even have the open source products, the whole relational family that we have in Azure. So MySQL, Postgres, MariaDB, even SQL Data Warehouse, which is still a SQL relational product that we offer in Azure. Some of these things, we would join into this unified experience. Some are related, but they're not exactly part of the Azure SQL family, or they're not offered inside of Azure. But we still want to connect you and help you understand this holistic, what products we offer, maybe connect you out to where you would find those products. Like say SQL Data Warehouse, I've been asked about this one a lot, when's it going to be added? And now, we've heard of Azure Synapse or SQL Data Warehouse, and the other analytics products are being grouped together similarly in a family of products and connecting them together. So right, SQL Data Warehouse is in that family, but we can connect those, we can kind of connect the stories together and say, you're in Azure SQL, but you may want SQL Data Warehouse actually. Like, we'll point you over to Azure Synapse, so you don't have to go figure out where to find it or figure out the data warehouse is what you want. We just take you there. Right? We don't put things all in different places. And then, so other things that are coming, right? I mentioned more unification across the products, but there's also more we can do to bring actual consistency and unification within our products. So I showed the creation experience and the entry point of management is unified now, but the rest of the management experience, the APIs and how you manage it programmatically, the content and documentation, all of that can be unified a lot more, and that's all things we want to add into this experience to make it properly unified across the board, right? Another big thing that we can add on top of this experience, now that we have this centralized management experience and we have these products that have similarities, all of the products have service tier offerings that you can configure. They have Azure Hybrid benefit for bringing your on-prem licenses, right there, security, backup. There are these features that are common across the board. We have a centralized place now. We can add capability to let you manage those features across all of the resources in that one place. So you don't have to go to every individual resource to configure your licenses, to configure your backups. Put it all in that one place, let you do it at scale. So now we have that ability with this creation of the unified management, right? And then, yeah, another cool thing I want to point out is SQL VM, right, is now part of this Azure SQL family. It is on the IaaS side, so it's on this side where you manage everything yourself. But there are manageability features that we offer on top of it, and we are committed to adding more and more. So even just recently, right, the storage pool configuration, if you've seen information about that, where we make it easier for you to configure storage pool on your SQL VMs, right? So you can manage the performance more easily. We've done things so that programmatically it's much easier to set up HA, right? Always on availability groups, failover clusters. So we're adding more and more manageability on top of SQL VM, as well as across the board, across these products. Can I click? All right. So yeah, that is everything that we have. If anyone kind of joined late, to recap, right? We've recognized the frustrations and the feedback that we've gotten from you all, and we want to do better with our experiences. So that's where we get this new experience where we've unified database, MI, and VM together into a single management and creation. And we're trying to build much, much more off of this in the near term. We're already starting to add new things into this new experience and new capabilities. So we want you to keep an eye out if you want to see more details. The first link is to my blog post talking about this experience. The second link is directly to the experience that I've shown today. If you don't have an Azure subscription and want to try these things out, you can start with a free trial. And then we would like to hear more from you. Send us feedback or come talk to me. You can follow us on Twitter to give us feedback when you try it out, or to keep in touch and see when we add more things to this. You'll see it from here as well. So we have a few minutes left. I'd love to hear questions from you guys if there are thoughts on your mind or reactions you have to this. Otherwise, I'll ask you questions. Nope. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw you guys have like if your experience is kind of like this, choose this option. If it's migration, choose this. Choose this. If not, I was wondering if is there a more detailed like parity page on what Azure SQL can and can't do compared to like a hosted VM? Something like SQL jobs is something I'm constantly asked about, because
Yeah.
I don't think Azure SQL has that concept of like scheduling a job to run at midnight or something like that. So we end up writing a logic app or a function or something like that. But we're looking to migrate, and we want to try to port those without rewriting them. So I don't know. I guess we're trying to look at like, oh, and cross server. I think queries is something Azure SQL can't do. So anyway, I'm just trying to find like this is what the limitations of each offering are, and then kind of the workaround around that.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a doc page where we look at SQL on-prem versus SQL managed instance versus SQL database and the level of feature capability that is supported in each. Like you mentioned, cross-database querying, right? That's something that's supported in managed instance, but not in single database. And so we have a doc that lays out for each of these common features or these kind of specialized features what is supported in which of these.
Like, sorry, like
Yeah.
if I do want to use Azure SQL for a SQL agent job, I know workarounds kind of like a logic app or do something else, schedule something else somewhere and kind of come in. But is that the recommended way, I guess? I'm sort of looking for guidance on I want to migrate this thing that isn't
Yeah.
supported here. Here's kind of an alternative.
Yeah, so you mentioned SQL agent jobs in particular, right? That is fully supported in SQL VMs and in managed instances, so that migration should be pretty easy. In single databases, we have a feature called Elastic Jobs, which you may have mentioned, which I've heard from a couple people this week that the migration might be a bit difficult for them into Elastic Jobs because they'd have to kind of rewrite things, but that is something that is compatible and offered for single databases.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks. Thanks for coming to my talk.